playing against Jeff Berlin over here in round number 1 of the second league, which, by the way, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the first league. If you didn't, you can check that out in the YouTube channel. And I think we're shipping this one. And I think we're keeping this one. Question mark. What's the goal of the podcast? Good question. So, we're talking about a podcast that obviously I have Titan Talk, right? And Titan Talk is not going anywhere. So the idea that I had was to make a different podcast with Evan and Spider that was focused on modern as a format overall, and it's not, you know, biased towards Amulet or Titan related content. So the idea was to focus on modern and talk exclusively modern, not we made, like, you know, talk about a card and talk about like its legacy applications or whatever, but like the focus is on modern 100%. And the idea is to grow it from there. So we're gonna be talking about decks that we would never talk about in Titan Talk. Obviously, you know, Evan and Spider have some very, very different approaches to modern than I do, which is like exactly the point. So we might talk about stuff like Death and Taxes. We might talk about control decks, like that Evan plays a lot. We may talk about like some other wacky combo decks, like Spider has been playing the I guess we're gonna apparition this thing. Spider has been playing the Through the Breach deck that also plays creativity, indomitable creativity. So stuff like that. So Modern Masters is too bad. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just a little bit pretentious, I guess. Or a little bit too close to being pretentious. Modern Talk seems a little bit similar to Titan Talk, but maybe we're going somewhere. Modern Family, that's funny. I've actually never watched Modern Family before, and I've been watching it with my wife because like apparently it's been on Hulu, and I didn't know. Like we had Hulu for a couple of weeks, a couple of years now, and I didn't know that everything was in Hulu, and it's hilarious. Like Phil just cracks me up, man. Like he is so good. Phil is so good. Far and away my favorite character of the series. Uh-oh. Are we dead here? If we're dead, can we just, you know, be dead so we can move on to the next game? Expressive iteration. Alright, that card is messed up here. Well, we are dead, I guess. So let's just pack it in. We're nowhere. I guess we were not technically dead, but you know, it's fine. We can move on to the next one. So I feel like I want some of these cards. Probably not. This seems like a little bit too narrow, so I'm probably not gonna mess around with that one. So these are the cards that I want, and I definitely want to cut the 1-drops. Where do we go from there? Probably cut the Ballista. All right, Rhea, good luck. Are you playing the PTQ? If you are, good luck. Eighth edition forward. Okay. For captain and only 1 creature to tutor is sus. I mean, excuse you. 2 creatures to tutor for. 2 creatures to tutor for. I probably have to bite the bullet with it though, right? Like it's not that this deck, it's not that this matchup relies too much on card advantage, right? That's not what this matchup is about anyway. Yeah, it's just a 3/3. Well, I mean, this is a turn 3 infinite life, so I'm not gonna pass up on that. So we are keeping it. Does this deck dumpster amulet? Yes. Quite convincingly. Quite convincingly. In fact, this deck is one of the main reasons why Amulet started moved to playing Karn the Great Creator. If not the main reason why, you know, the stock Amulet builds that we see today are all playing Karn. It's almost exclusively because of this deck. This is the part that really annoys me the most about this deck. This is the part that annoys me the most about this deck. And why I think, like, I was legit asking in a Twitter poll whether people thought that Splinter Twin was more broke, whether Heliod was more broken than Splinter Twin. And this that we're seeing right here is precisely why I don't think it's crazy to think that this deck may be better than Splinter Twin in its heyday. Because that interaction, like, I just went ahead, I played a Heliod, and my opponent can't do anything at all to interact with it. Like, I just played my Heliod, and that's it. Like, my opponent's stuck. They can't do anything. Now I'm playing a Ranger Captain. My opponent is probably going to be holding on to some interaction or whatever. None of it is going to matter because I have protection from this dude, so now they can't attack me anymore. Like, it's just so obnoxious. Like, it's so, like, my opponent couldn't play another threat on turn 2 because they would have just died. And all of this while we're holding on to Collected Company in my hand. Like, this is just absolutely egregious. We're literally sitting on a Collected Company right here. It's so stupid, man. I really hate that this deck exists. Like, I really do. Lava Dart me? Sure, whatever. And if my opponent doesn't kill this Ranger Captain, we're just gonna sack it, and then we're gonna gain infinite life. What are they supposed to do? They're playing a deck that can't realistically beat infinite life, so... Well, you're dead, opponent. Hope you enjoyed it. Because you're just dead. There's literally nothing you can do about it. So I can force my opponent to sack a land, and we hold on to the Ranger Captain. I think actually Burrington may be just the better card right now, so I'm just gonna sack this. Play my Spike Feeder. Literally nothing they can do. Yeah, and they just have to scoop it. And my opponent played it right? Like they went ahead and they didn't deploy their threat on turn 2. Maybe they couldn't, right? But even if they could, they just couldn't do it because they would know that they would just die to this if they tap out on turn 3. Like that's just it. So like the fact that this card literally cannot be interacted with in a realistic way, I think it's the most annoying part. Like the fact that it's not a creature is an upside. The fact that it's not a creature is actually an upside because my opponent can't like Vapor Snag it or Dismember it or anything like that. So, and how many times have people, you know, like attempted to dismember the Heliod and then your opponent just like sacks the Ranger Captain? Now this is not a creature anymore. Heliod stays in play. Like it's just so obnoxious. A 1/4 creature was tough to kill. It was, but the type of interaction that Splinter Twin forced you to play was Abrupt Decay, right? Abrupt Decay is significantly more flexible than something like this hand sucks. It's so much more flexible than something like Dayside or Mystic Repeal. I kind of want to keep this hand. Yeah, even Combust. Even something like Combust kills Jace the Mind Sculptor, right? I remember being very excited when they printed the 1 mana Combusting Cans. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, but those cards were even so much more flexible. Like, at that point, Restoration Angel was a playable card, right? Man, I really feel like I have to ship this, which feels awful, but okay, I guess I keep it this. We're gonna bottom that and that. This honestly feels like the best out of all the hands that we saw, though. Oh, Fry. Fry is the one that hits Walker. But like nowadays, you would just play Fry, and you would also be able to hit Walkers, which is kind of this same thing that I'm talking about. Like I have played Fry in my Amulet Titan sideboards, even in a format without Splinter Twin. The Twin Mirror was so fun. Yeah, the Twin Mirror was a good time. I enjoyed playing Twin Mirrors. Clearly don't need Temple Garden because well, I guess we have to get Temple Garden now, however. My opponent is complaining that I have turn 1 Utopia Sprawl all 3 games. It's just like, what do you want me to tell you, opponent? Like, you also had turn 2 Stormwing Entity every time, and I didn't say anything. Like, it's so cringe, man. It's so cringe when people complain like that. It's just, god damn it! What are we doing here? We can go down to 13, kill this. We probably have to do that. It's too much damage otherwise. The problem is we can't draw both a land and a collected company. We never found an Arok champion though. That's definitely the big deal. Exactly, just like I mull to 5, opponent. What the hell you want me to tell you? Like, are you really salty enough that your opponent who mulled to 5 got lucky? What the fuck? Well, if I Ranger Captain, that's a second blocker for the Soulscar Mages, and I can top deck a land and get super lucky. The problem is if I don't play Heliod. Well, but I have to play Ranger Captain, otherwise the chances of me being dead are way too high. The problem is that my chances of winning are also very low if I play Ranger Captain, which is kind of awkward. Let's say I play Ranger Captain, okay? And I could crack on upkeep, but then my opponent just bolts me and I die. So that's probably not a good idea. But I throw both blockers and then I find a land. and then I'm going to be going down to 7 at least. With any bolt, we're going down to 3. I guess if they have a bolt, they would point at the Ranger Captain anyway. We are really feeling the mulligan here. We're really feeling the mulligan. If we had access to 2 more cards, one of which was a land, this game would be a lot easier. But the fact that we're working on so little resources. How does a game that I win look like? A game that I win, they missed the land, so their hand has to be more business. So I guess that their business would need to be just more creatures. If they have more creatures, so I think I'm gonna go with Heliod because I don't think that this is gonna be enough to stop their good hands. I mean, and this is not gonna be enough to stop their good hands. And even playing this doesn't really put me in a situation where I have some actively good draws for next turn. So what Heliod does is it makes a land a potentially game-winning play. So I think that it's correct for me to go all in on the Heliod plan, trying to spike a land to go with this Collected Company. And if my opponent has a good hand, I'm going to lose anyway, whether I play this or I play this. And if they have a bad hand... Is that enough to kill me? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Technically not dead. And they played their land already. So unless they drew mutagenic growth off of the Serum Visions, we should be fine. So now we're going to chump block the Soulscar Mage. And we do have an out at finding a land first. Okay. And now we need to find a Spike Feeder off of this Collected Company while we're at 1. Alright, chat, give me that drum roll. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Never lucky. Hashtag never lucky. Okay, we lost. Close. A very, very close game. See you for the next round. Round number 2 of this new league. This hand has a lot of Abyss. Doesn't have a ton of land though. I think I'm gonna ship it. Better. I like this better. Bottom the Township, I guess. Even though Township plus Conclave Mentor is kind of hype, but... ¿Tenemos amuleto Oji? No. No amuleto Oji. Also, I totally missed your sub, Tomo. I'm sorry about that. Welcome with the Prime sub. Cheers for all the exciting content. I've learned a lot from lines you've taken. I would have never thought to take. That's awesome. That's exactly why I'm doing this. So great to hear this help you out, Tomo. I appreciate the support. Blooming Marsh. Thoughtseize. Operation down. Of note, no Lurus. No Lurus. Let's make another white mana here. Definitely gonna play the Heliod. Protected from discard. Yeah, so we may be playing against like a Liliana kind of deck, stuff like that. Wait, they let me untap with Arbor Elf? Assassin's Trophy my land. Turbo Goofy. I guess it could technically be just John though, right? If they don't have push, it's not a good attack. Now I got a 6/6. Phone and confirm Laxac. That's fun. That's a fun top deck. John with Bloomer Marsh. I've seen weirder things. I've seen John with Ghost Quarter, right? John with Bloomer Marsh cannot be that much worse than John with Ghost Quarter. So I guess we can safely say XD here. John with Bloodline, yeah, exactly. Great point. Cut the 1-drops. I like Giant Killer. I like Oriok Champ. Maybe 3 Veils. Gen players are crazy. Maybe I shouldn't even be playing this Veil of Summers anyway. It's possible that these Veils are, you know, here just for the control matchup as opposed to something like what we're playing against right now. Seems like quite a reasonable. Oh, Treetop? Fuck yeah, I love Treetop. I love Treetop Village. It's just a fun card, right? Just such a well-designed card. Perfect power level. On point. Two for one. Four Veil seems like a lot. It seems like one too many. It could be fine in a control matchup, which is what I was saying. Again, I'm not familiar enough with this deck to be able to draw these conclusions. That's exactly the whole point of Know Thy Enemy. What's this? Ashiok? Liliana. It has to be Liliana. Has to be Liliana. Ashiok with no blue. Well, you know with Ashiok I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the playable Ashiok, not the other one. Got him! I got value from my sack opponent. How you feel about that? I think I'm facing this Coco. I think I like Oreo Champ better than the other one. The Champ is here. Being Cuban so much, forget about the hybrid Ashiok. Yeah, the good Ashiok is pretty good. Oh no, my human is down. Let's try this again. I love how this is a human peasant. How is peasant a creature type? I'm not gonna shuffle because like we went through a lot without being able to find the spike feeder, so furiously building peasant tribal as we speak. Damn you peasants. Damn you peasants. They take walking ballista instead of the card that is going to get me a walking ballista. Okay, they take both the cards. That makes more sense. Oh. Well, I think I'm gonna hold on to that one. What we can do is we can lifelink both of these, and we can make probably a big Heliod. Yeah, my opponent has had enough. I was going to make a 6/6 Heliod, and then I was going to make it a 3/3 Skyclave. The reason for that is I wanted to play around this member, which is my opponent's potential only answer to Heliod. And it also plays through 5/6 Goyfs, which is the current sizing. So my opponent doesn't want anything to do with it though. So I'll see you for the next round. Mono 3-drops dot hand, but like, you know, good cards. This could be a mulligan on the draw. Feels like this is a hand I would be okay keeping on the play, but I should probably be shipping on the draw. But you know, there's only one way to learn, I guess. I think Iset is a slightly negative matchup. Honestly, I could see that. I could see how Stormwing Entity is a big problem, which is not a problem for the rest of the versions. So like I could see Entity being an issue, while all the other ones not really. Like Red White Prowess, for example. Opponents play blue red. Blue red with no turn to play. If this was in their hand, I feel like they should have probably cast it anyway, right? Feels like time walking yourself is such a huge cost. Any non-canopy land would be great, I think. They can have mutagenic growth, but I don't think the Conclave Mentor matters too much anyways. Well, I'm gonna ask my opponent the question. Do you have it? They probably do with that Metamorphose. Do I moonlight as a porn star? I am in LA after all. I have no idea what that even means. Oof. My opponent is giving me the whole priority. Ha! Still had all these. Still had all these. Still had all these. Do you send stuff back to Argentina like iPhone and such? No, not really. Mentor wouldn't have mattered because they just bowled the Mentor, right? In fact, the Mentor dying was what kept us at a higher life total anyway. Did I 5-0? No, I lost playing for the 5-0. Okay. I'm gonna keep this though. I think Oriok Champ is legit here. Temple Garden is a powerful card. So many spikes, so many feeders, so little time. Did they really just go turn 1 nothing, turn 2 nothing? Gain life. Gain life. That spike feeder gained me at least 7 life. Not even counting for the life that, like the damage that I saved from a Stormwing entity. We're pathing that nonsense. Awkward. Oops. Turn off auto yields. Yes. Block. The lava dart face. Okay. I'm okay with this that's happening here. Why did the lava dart in combat? That makes no sense. Oh. Sweet. Sweet. And we even get to force the action, and we have 2 layers of... yeah, this seems fine. I think we may have it here. Path your dude. I said, path your dude. Take one. They lava dart me from hand, so I guess this is fine. They lava dart me from hand, so I'm gonna gain a life. My opponent is going to lava dart me from graveyard in response, which is also fine. And then I'm going to gain another 2 life. I'm gonna put another counter on this guy. Two more life, another counter on this guy. I don't think I'm attacking yet. I think I may be attacking next turn. And if I find any land, we're gonna be in great shape. That's an insane top deck for them. That is a ridiculously good top deck for them. Wait for snag. That's a thick Sprite Dragon. Thick Sprite Dragon. Am I gonna lose this game? White Source would be great. Oh, that's kind of awesome, actually. Lava Dart is brutal. Everything else we are okay with. Opt. Okay, so if we find any land, we win here. We need to find any land at all. Any land does it. It's not quite a land. Not quite a land. Am I dead now? If they went top, I maybe... Yeah, they went top, so I'm assuming that I'm dead now. Oh man, that's so gross. If I go Oreo Champ, I block. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at least. Well, they just have the lava dart. Brutal. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I really doubt that they're gonna forget about lava darts. That was crazy though. That was crazy. We had multiple shots at finding the piece that we were missing, but iteration it was kind of the deal breaker here. The combination of second lava dart plus expressive iteration after we have dealt with their threat and we have taking their resources and then just them top decking the expressive iteration, that looked very, very good. That was like such a good showing for this card. Opponent correctly waiting for the Helio trigger to go on the stack. Rough. See you for the next round. Okay, sitting at 1 and 2. Not doing so well this time around, but that's fine. Keep this hand. Turn to company. Don't mind if I do. Turn to company. Don't mind if I do. Udeborg. All right. I wonder if they're gonna take the Utopia Sprawl here. Yep, they do. Makes sense. Actually makes a ton of sense to take the Sprawl there. Here I'm just gonna play the Spike Feeder. I guess there is an argument for playing Arbor Elf, so we have a guaranteed Thoughtseize. Okay, I was gonna say so we have guaranteed company mana, but seemed unlikely for them to not have the Thoughtseize there. So it's not bad. Like, we're not in the worst shape ever. I wouldn't dare to say that we're in good shape, but now we have the Conclave Mentor plus Feeder combo, so we can start to grow our creatures. Which seems like a pretty reasonable way to use our mana. Vanishing Verse. Well, never mind. Never mind. Oops. We're gonna keep on putting in the pressure. This is a 3-3 ballista right here. Swing for 3. Flagstones. So I guess they have most smallpox. It's a pretty good draw. They probably have to kill the Conclave Mentor here instead of the... No, I mean, they have to kill the Ballista, otherwise they just die to it, so... Township, baby. Gavany Township, baby. I'm trying to think whether we want Orc champions in this matchup specifically. I imagine we do. Just do something like that, just a couple of Veils. I don't want to be, you know, with a bunch of Veils stranded in my hand. And it's not like Arbor Elf is that bad against them anyway. Maybe they have Plague Engineer, which would make the Elf worse, but if they Plague Engineer on Elf, then they're not Plague Engineering on Human, which is great for me. And... what was I going to say? Totally forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, Elf is okay. Are they just hoping that I'm not going to hit my land drops? Is that the plan? And this is the problem with Veil of Summer. Now if I find Veil of Summer, like that's just an embarrassing top deck, right? People always remember about the Veil of Summer blowouts, but they always forget about the Veil of Summer, you know, the fail rate. But if we ever find those lands, though. But if we ever find those lands, though. Oh, don't tell me smallpox. Oh, no. Oh, my God. That's kind of insane. Flagstones busted. Stoneforge. It's a funny combo to be playing in your deck, right? It's an interesting combination to be playing in your deck, just like Stoneforge and Smallpox. Know how I feel about that. On the play, Veil sounds a lot more exciting, I guess. I guess it's better than the Champ. I would imagine that the 4 Veil of Summers are in the sideboard for the control matchups. Like if you're playing against Esper or something. Okay, now opponent, please have a bunch of stupid discard spells. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate it if you had a bunch of discard spells. There we go, that's exactly what we want to see. So these Veil of Summers are the ones that one remembers, you know? Those are the Veil of Summers that we all remember about. Yep, these are the Veil of Summers that we all remember. I'm not going to play around the Third Inquisition, so I think instead I'm going to play around Smallpox here. And I'm just not going to play the Conclave Mentor. Stop, they have a family. Oh, come on, you have another discard spell? Wow. And that's the one that we don't have the Veil for. God damn it. Opponent confirmed the luckiest. Opponent confirmed the luckiest. Now I'm okay with my opponent smallpoxing because we're taking a Stoneforge for our troubles, so that seems fine. And I think I'm probably cycling here. I guess I can just not cycle. Oof. So they have to push the Conclave Mentor in response, otherwise we're going to kill this Stoneforge. I'm not going to attack because they could have Batterskull in hand. Like the Gavany though. Gavany may get to do some work here again. Okay. If they equip, I think I trade. Yeah. They can smallbox me here. But we're trading for like a real card. Okay, that makes their smallbox a lot better. Still kind of okay here. They have no cards in hand. No cards in hand, no business at all. Hey, that the only day you can make it is know thy enemy. Nah, you're fine, Donnie. How was yesterday? How was the commander nonsense? It was awesome. You guys had a good time. Pog elected company. So many spikes feeders, so little time. So many spike feeders, so little time. Commander is a blast. I feel like Commander is fine as long as... Oh, it's a good top deck for them. As long as you're not taking it too seriously. And unfortunately, I cannot really do that. Ranger Captain. I feel like I have to do this here. Unfortunately, I feel like I have to do this because otherwise my opponent's Sword of Fire and Ice can kill my spike feeders. It's all about the group, not the decks. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's just like it's slow, right? It's, I don't know. It's fine, like it just doesn't do it for me. But I understand why people find it appealing for sure. I do understand why people like it. It's just one of those things that is, you know, it's just not for me. And it's perfectly fine. Like I'm definitely not the target demographic of Commander, so. How tall am I? I am like 6'02", I think. Or 1 meter and 84 centimeters, I think. Or 82. It's been a really long time since the last time I've measured my height in meters. I don't play Commander, but I think it's about having some beers, hanging with friends, less about competitive. Yeah, for sure. We need American. Yeah, that's what I said. Sack a creature, gain 4. Gain 2. And gain 2. I'm gonna sack that one. I said 602 for the American people out there. Centimeters are real units. I agree with that, yeah. But I live in America. Okay, they play their land. Just fetching for F6 value. Heliod. Hey. Gonna attack again. If my opponent chooses to triple block one of them, we're gonna activate Township. If they just simple block, that's also fine. We'll take it. We're just gonna deploy a Ranger Captain of Eos. I think I want to go get Walking Ballista here. I know that it exposes the Ballista, but we can grow it starting next turn with... Oh, I'm an idiot. No, because I guess that they don't get to draw a card and I get to kill one of the spirits. So no, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. So my opponent can't actually target the ballista with the spirit. Because if they do, we deny them the draw step and we also kill one of the spirits. So they're going to leave back to block, leaving them dead on board. So this is fine. Like, they actually have to go face here. Or maybe not. No draw for you. And now you're dead on board unless you have something else. Can't be removal. Yeah, they just... That's what I was saying. Like, they just left themselves dead on board whenever they targeted the ballista. Like, they needed something else. Alright, see you for the last round of the league. Alright, here we go. Ready for the 3 and 2. Gotta get that bread, you know? I mean, this is a turn 3 infinite life hand, so I'm not gonna ship this. Green, white. Red and ticks. Okay. Okay. We're good with this ones. We're good with the whole Utopia Sprawl things. We could be playing against Scapeshift, the BTL DryadShift deck. Gonna play Dryad here to Fairy. Okay, no Beauty Too Late. Alright, I just feel like my deck is just teasing me at this point. MTG o Salseo. ¿Cómo van, queridos? Espero que ande todo bárbaro. Espero que el stream haya estado divertido e interesante. Estamos jugando un poco de Heliod acá, como podrán ver. Una chanchada el mazo este. ¿Cómo anduvo el stream? I guess this could also be Niv. If this is Niv, no, this has to be the Omnath deck. Thanks, enjoy the stream. Sí, muchas gracias por el raid. Muchas gracias por el raid. Well, we can't play around anything, right? Just can't play around anything, so I'm just gonna throw my Spike Feeder into play and see what happens. We can play around Mana Leak or Remand, so that's cool. And there goes that. I think I'm cycling an unstep. Just gonna cycle an unstep. But no, my opponent can't really tap out anymore. And they need 2 layers of interaction. Our draws have been abysmal. I don't think our draws could have been much worse than they were. We definitely hit like the bottom, like 2% of the possible draw steps. So the fact that we are in this game really shows how idiotic this deck really is. Just gonna get a 2-for-1 here, but we're just probably just gonna move on with our life because I really doubt it that. They messed it up here slightly. They should have waited to see what I target with the Heliod trigger. That would have been the proper timing to do this. Because now they are allowing me to have a 7/7 Heliod for no real reason. And at this point, I'm just I'm just pretty much sure that my opponent's playing the Bring to Light deck. They never found the fetch land though. They should have just gone Ram, Ping, then Bolt. Yeah, that would have been a lot better too. What's up, Spider? Good, man. We gotta figure out the name of the podcast ASAP, okay? I want to figure it out by like this weekend. By the time we record the next episode next week, I want for us to have a name. So this is gonna be the weekend to brainstorm and think about it, because the sooner we get that going, the sooner that we can start, you know, uploading it to Spotify, iTunes, etc. So you've been thinking about it. I like that. I like to hear that. What have you been thinking about? You figure something out? They gotta fetch. Was I F6? Because that sucks. Okay. I'm targeting the Arbor Elf here so my opponent can just ping it with Rim. It's obviously not great, but like our draws have been absolutely miserable, so I think I saw that. Oh, that's what you were thinking about? Okay, I thought you were gonna, you know, tell me something different. Is it kind of what's what? No, because we don't have a name yet. And in order to upload it to the other platforms, it is asking me for a name, and we don't have one, so. Well, we can't beat that, right? Just gonna concede. Let's just move on to the next game. This doesn't seem like a good matchup. It could be an okay matchup, I guess. They do have a lot of interaction, though. I don't think I want path. I think it's very likely I'm supposed to just present this same 75 on the play, this same 60 on the play, and then I'm gonna make changes for game 2 and for game 3 because I'm gonna be on the draw. My opponent they get to run minus on my Arbor Elves, so I probably want to get rid of some Arbor Elves. But I think on the play, I want to maximize my chances of having mana dorks earlier in the game. Modern Musketeers is fine. Podcast names are bad. Press 1 for Modern Musketeers. Yeah. But I'm not opposed to stuff like that for sure. I'm not opposed to something like, you know, like First Strike or... What was the other one that you said? We're going to talk about this. The upkeep. I think that there has to be an upkeep podcast, but upkeep is kind of a little bit... I kind of want for it to be a little... Like, to be related to Modern, you know? Something with Modern X, you know? I mean, I'm going to keep another hand like this one, and I'm just going to get super punished by drawing infinite blanks, but, I mean, it just is what it is, right? And I'm leading on Sprawl instead of the Arbor Elves because I want to play Heliod while my opponent doesn't have ways of interacting with it. Oh, come on, man. This is... It's real rough. It's real rough to go out like this. It could be Modern Upkeep. I don't hate Modern Upkeep. I mean, this kind of beats down. This kind of beats down a little bit. Gonna diversify my threats a little bit. Dryad could be a problem. Anger wouldn't be great for me, but it's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. Anything else? Like, Dryad, I guess, would suck. Hello, thanks for chatting. Welcome. And DKM87, thank you for those follows. Oh, yeah, that's hot. I'll take that one. Yep. Not bad. Not bad. If they're going to answer with a burn spell or an answer for the spike feeder or an answer for the Heliod. Well, that means I get... No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, technically I get to gain infinite. I guess they could have Bolt. They have Bolt. Wow. Damn. That is really fucking good. That is really, really, really good. And now we see how games would play out if Heliod were actually touchable. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Good point. So this is how things would work out if you could actually interact with Heliod. Which is a lot more reasonable, right? It's a lot more reasonable. Fairy. Are we gonna bounce the Oreo champ? The champ? I don't think I'm playing around the sweeper. Attack that, attack them. I just want to put on pressure before they can, you know, find a Dryad and just completely destroy me. They could, maybe they have Anger of the Gods or something, but Omnath. Omnath's rough. We can find another apparition. Because Omnath is going to be enough to stabilize. Every time I play, I've been playing the escape shift deck. I have not been drawing as well as my opponent has been. My opponent is making the deck look really, really good. Yep. Opponent's making the deck look very, very good. Making the deck look very, very good. Is there really a world where I was not supposed to pick the Skyclave apparition? There's no way, right? There's no way there was a world where I was supposed to not pick the Skyclave apparition. While there's a Ren and 6 on board, right? Okay. Big yikes. Yeah, that was our break. We needed to hit there. That was our break. We needed to hit there. Not quite getting there. Probably can't win anymore. I mean, we're dead to bring to light, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if there was no target, I can see an argument for it. But the fact that there was a Ren and 6 on the other side of the battlefield, it just makes me feel that I'm always supposed to get this Skyclave operation there. Also, both games, my draw was embarrassing. Maybe I should have mulliganed. I don't think I was supposed to, right? Like, both times I had turned to Heliod. There's no way I was supposed to ship those hands. Both times I had turned to Heliod, and like both times I was able to like set up Spike Feeder and stuff, but just my opponent's draws were outstanding. Yeah, this just doesn't get me anywhere. This just doesn't get me anywhere. Even an apparition would have been okay, but like I don't have attacks. This is just all sorts of a disaster. Are you in love with this deck? No, I think this deck is a monstrosity. I think this deck should be banned. Or I let me rephrase that. I wish this deck were banned. Maybe it shouldn't be, maybe it should be. That's a whole other argument. But I personally wish that this deck were banned, so we just wouldn't have to worry. I feel like this deck play patterns are extremely shitty for the best deck in the format. I feel like the play patterns of this deck are fine if this is like a tier 3 deck. You know, if this were a tier 3 deck, then this would be fine. But the fact that this is arguably the best deck in the format, in my opinion, it is. My opinion is the best deck in the format. So with that in mind, I feel like this is just a miserable deck to have as the best deck in the format. Why do I neglect my health? What kind of question is that? Obviously, I will neglect my health for chat's enjoyment. That's literally what I do all time Legacy. Of course. I will happily do that. I'm over this game. Let's just concede. Yeah. If you draw like my opponent, I guess my opponent's draw wasn't even good. Like it was okay. They definitely had. They needed to have exactly Path plus Bolt. So they needed to have exactly path like path plus bolt, and they did. So like their hand was good when it mattered, but overall it was just a normal hand. Like it was just an average hand for that deck. But our hand was just embarrassing, which is possible that means that I should be shipping it. But again, I don't think I was supposed to. And wow, thank you so much, Donnie, for gifting 10 tier subs to the community. Thank you so much. Sacrificing my body and soul for you, exactly. That's what I'm here for. That is exactly what I'm here for. Thanks for sacrificing the mental health. Everything for you, chat. Everything for you. And yeah, thank you so much for the support, Donnie, and welcome Chili Wrangler, Tenorca, Lava Bleeding, Siscore91, Bob Goyce, Already Dead, Vantash, Lambert, Aetios, and John Star. All of you, welcome to the Brampton Strongholds. Congratulations on your gifted sub. And welcome. Alright. Let me mute that the notifications for a second. Let's talk about this deck. I think it's very good. I think it's very, very good. I was definitely surprised to find out that the Prowess matchup wasn't as good as I expected. It definitely feels like the fact that their threats fly and it's kind of tough for us to deal with them complicates things significantly. Lava Dart is a pain in the ass, right? But the issue is that against the other versions of Prowess, you throw an Oriok champion in front, right? And you throw a Borintor Forge Stander in front, and then you have basically bought yourself infinite time. That's just not the case against the Blue-Red Prowess decks. So, because they're putting so much pressure on you so quickly, and they're attacking for an angle that is not easy for us at all to stop, it felt like it was a lot worse than I was expecting. But when we played against the other versions of Prowess, I think we played against Red-White and we made a play against Mono-Red, I don't remember. But I think we didn't. I think we just played against Red-White otherwise. But when we played against the Red-White version, like the matchup felt so much better, right? Like we just played an Oriok champion and then my opponent's just like, I can't pass, I can't get through anymore. And it was so much easier for us to get there. Same thing against Burn. Against Burn, things got a little bit trickier because of Roiling Vortex. But like we got rid of it with the apparition, and then it's just easy game. Like we just have so many layers of life gain and ways to stabilize and stuff like that. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting finding. The blue-red Prowess matchup. As far as this list specifically, it almost feels like these are written in stone. Maybe you can cut one apparition, but it feels like these are pretty much written in stone. As far as the rest of the cards, the Noble Hierarch is interesting. I think it's nice having access to the extra mana dork. What I do wonder, however, is the way that I see the mana base is I see 21 lands and the Governing Township, which makes sense to me. But I wonder if we should just play less lands. There's no way though. Like the canopies just help so much with the flooding. But the Utopia Sprawl and the Arbor Elf, like these are definitely, like this is a lot of mana sources, right? This is a lot of mana sources. Half your deck is mana sources. So it's no joke. Like we did flood a fair amount. When we had like a nice draw, it was super smooth, right? But like when we flooded pretty hard because of all of these redundant effects. Coco whiffed, and Coco was also incredible. So that's just collected company by design. Like that's just what the card does. So that doesn't surprise me too much. But we had like a spot, for example, where we companied for Heliod plus Spike Feeder out of nowhere when my opponent tapped out on my end step, and it just felt unfair. Like it honestly felt like I was it honestly felt like I'm just like, what is this? Like, what is this nonsense? And then we had the company that we had in that very last game where it's like, we really need to hit something here, and then we just found like a silly Conclave Mentor, and like that was it. So I remember seeing Canister playing stuff like Eternal Witness, for example. That kind of stuff seems really interesting to me. Like, I don't think I would play Tireless Tracker in this deck, but Eternal Witness seems super interesting because the body matters a lot, particularly with stuff like Governing Township or just like throwing random Heliod counters on the Eternal Witness. And being able to like company into Witness and then get back your collected company sounds, like it always feels unfair. So I wonder if there's a way to do that. Also it means that we could potentially cut one of the ballistas, because if necessary we could go get the ballista again. Honestly, the ballista was just fine. Like, naturally drawing the ballista didn't feel miserable or anything. The only problem I have with this deck is that company feels like it whiffs a little bit too much. And I don't know if that's fixable. It just feels like it's like that by design. Like, I would imagine that anybody would have figured out a way to fix that if that were the case. But, company into Conclave Mentor plus Oriok Champion, like, this is not powerful, right? Unless you already have a Heliod, which, granted, it's pretty likely that you do have a Heliod going on. Kirsty Bargo, thank you for the follow. Unless you already have a Heliod going on, it feels like your deck really struggles to function without a Heliod. Once you have Heliod, your beatdown plan becomes significantly better, and like your top decks become a lot better as well. But if you don't have a Heliod in play, then your deck is just like, which is what happened in the very last game, right? Where we're in a situation where we do have a Heliod, but like we're just the Heliod gets answered, and then we're like, well, I guess there goes that, that kind of deal. So I feel like Cross Community is a real tax when one of our 4 opponents is on prowess. Well, but it didn't feel like that. I disagree. It didn't feel like that at all. Like, it did, I never felt like I lost because of Horizon Canopy. I lost because I mulliganed a lot, or I lost because my opponent just killed my stuff. Like, rushing you and attacking you quickly is not that big of a problem. Like, the Prowess deck, unlike something like Burn, Horizon Canopy is a lot more impactful in a negative way against a deck like Burn than it is against a deck like Prowess. Obviously, the 1 point of damage matters against Prowess, but it matters so much more against Burn. Because against Prowess, they never X-axis you, or they rarely X-axis you. They very often just like swing at you for 8, then the following turn they swing at you for 12, then the following turn they swing at you for like 5 or 6 or something like that again. It just works in a different way where you need to answer their creatures. So it's not this that's killing us, it's not finding an answer to one of their creatures that's killing us. So I don't think that Canopy really changes anything in the Prowess matchup. I could see it changing stuff in the Burn matchup for sure. Think about companies that randomly wins the game sometimes, which is why it's stuck, I think. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, we did that. We did that a couple of times here in this very stream. Like, company felt unfair, but it's just what you're kind of like rolling the dice. It's just what you're doing. So many times like Coco picks up 2-3 mana creatures. That's 2-1 card advantage and 6-4 mana advantage. Both at instant speed. Hard to decline that kind of value. I mean, if it's 10% failure rate or so. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not saying that this deck is poorly built. I'm just saying that it has those angles. It has those angles that could potentially be fixed. As for the sideboard, I didn't like it. I think that the 4th Veil of Summer was always terrible. Like, I never wanted to bring it in. I feel like 4 Damping Spheres, even if you're getting paired against Mono Green Tron, I feel like you're just going to lose the game with Damping Spheres. Like, you're just going to draw like 2 Damping Spheres, and eventually your opponent's going to O-Stone your entire board, including Damping Sphere, and you're going to lose anyway. So I feel like there's incredibly high diminishing returns for playing 4 copies of this card and 4 copies of this card that I never want to have 4 copies of either one of these cards. So this, I don't think that this, I like the way that this sideboard in particular is built. I don't know whose list this was. I just copied and pasted from a list in Goldfish, and I'm not saying that they're building their deck poorly. I don't know who they are, but I'm saying that I would not build my deck in this way because I feel like there's way too high of a diminishing return in the extra copies of this. Even with Path to Exile, like there are like against Prowess, you probably would want to have access to 4 paths, but at the same time, whenever you do that, like I'd probably, instead of having access to that, I'd rather have access to like another Forge Tender or what's another good creature against Prowess for 2 or 3 mana, 1, 2 or 3 mana. I mean, I guess maybe in the case of Prowess, there's no way, so we just have to do something like this. But Spider. Pretty sure it's less than 10% fail rate. I guess it depends what you consider failure. Like hitting the dork is a fail, then your rates are a lot worse. Yeah. I mean, hitting this card is fail, I would say. Last league I played, my Heliod opponent had 3 choke in the sideboard. That seems like even so much more of a waste of space. I think choke is unplayable right now in Modern. I think choke may be playable once Counterspell comes into the format, but I think that right now choke is unplayable. It's just bad. It's just not a good card at all. Rhetoric against Prowess in the sideboard. Yeah, for sure. Like that is the kind of card that I'm talking about. Even something like Eternal Witness could be interesting in the Prowess matchup, right? Like you path their stuff, then you Coco into Eternal Witness, you get back your path, you path their other Stormwing entity or whatever. Or they kill your apparition and you with it back and you kill another Prowess creature or whatever. So I feel like we are just wasting way too many cyber slots here in like random 4th copies of Veil of Summer and Dapping Sphere, which we basically never ever want instead of doing the other stuff. Arcan, it just doesn't work like that. And I just saw the Keklia, so I know that you're trolling me, so that's fine. Yeah, Prelate is going to be huge. Prelate is going to be huge for this deck, I think. I think that that's going to be a nice, easy, like 2 or 3 off in the sideboard against Prowess, and then you can just slam it on turn 2 or 3 and just name 1 and be just like, sup. Try beating me now, nerd. So I think that card is going to be insane in this deck, which is yet another reason why I'm kind of, worried about that card entering the format. Not that card entering the format, but just like this deck specifically being able to adopt that card and not eating a ban or something like that. Yeah, I think Prelate is going to be like an all-star in this deck. Maybe we will see like less Ranger Captains or something like that, or maybe less Calculate Operations in the main deck. Because even like, Prelate on 4, even if it's stopping your companies, if it's stopping your opponent's cards, like you just don't care too much, right? And your opponent's going to be compelled to kill it, and then when they kill it, that's when you company. It's just this deck gets Prelate, control never gets anything. I know, Donnie. They should print something for control decks. Like control decks need need extra help. Anyway, I enjoyed playing the deck. I think it's very, very powerful, and I hate that it exists, and I hate the play patterns that it has when I'm playing against it, but it doesn't feel like it's... No, I didn't feel like it sucked to play. Like, I actually had fun playing it. So, I guess that if you're the one doing the Helioding, you're probably okay. Like, you're probably going to have a good time. But I still think that it sucks that it exists in the format, and it sucks for these to be the best deck, if not at least one of the best decks in Modern. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Please do so, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, folks. Bye bye.